Hello, and welcome to another episode from BC's Sports Historian channel, where we like to talk about the could've, would've, and should'ves of the sports world. We also like to get into athletes that retire quietly, kind of vanish, go by the wayside, and you wonder what happened to them. We like to get into those athletes as well. If there is any specific athlete that you would like us to discuss, feel free to name them in the comment section below. Today, we are going to get into former Alabama Crimson Tide running back Eddie Lacy. And without further ado, let's get right into Mr. Lacy. Eddie was born and raised in the New Orleans suburb of Gretna, Louisiana. His family was forced to evacuate his childhood home due to Hurricane Katrina, fleeing to Beaumont, Texas, to stay with Lacy's aunt. His family later relocated to the Baton Rouge, Louisiana area, where Lacy initially lived with 9 other family members in a 3-bedroom home. Afterwards, Lacy and his parents and brothers settled in the nearby town of Gesmer, Louisiana. Lacy attended and graduated from Dutchtown High School, where he played high school football for the Griffins. He ran for 1,207 yards and 13 touchdowns as a sophomore. He ran for 34 touchdowns as a junior and only 1 touchdown during his injury-plagued senior season. In December 2008, he was selected by the Louisiana Sports Writers Association as a first-team player on the Class 5A All-State football team for the 2nd consecutive season. Rated as the 13th best running back and the 116th best prospect overall by Rivals.com, Lacy committed to the University of Alabama in February of 2009. So even having an injury-riddled senior season in high school, the man was still good enough to get a D1 scholarship by the University of Alabama, none other. And looking at his pre-college career stats, it's kind of easy to see why. He was listed as 5'10.5", 225 pounds, with a 4.6 40. At the University of Alabama in his first season, the Crimson Tide's running back room was loaded, and he ended up redshirting. In his 2010 season, Lacy earned his spot as the 3rd-string tailback behind Mark Ingram and Trent Richardson. In the season opener against San Jose State, Lacy ran for 113 yards and 2 touchdowns in his collegiate debut. For the 2010 season, he finished with 406 yards rushing on 56 carries, with an average of 7.25 yards per carry and 6 touchdowns. The next season, 2011, with Ingram departing for the NFL, Richardson and Lacy advanced to the number 1 and number 2 running back spots for the 2011 Alabama Crimson Tide football team, with Trent Richardson being the starter and Eddie Lacy being the backup. In the 2011 season opener against Kent State, Lacy contributed 134 yards of offense, which were 76 receiving yards, on 3 catches and 58 rushing yards on 8 carries. In the Tide's second game, Lacy rushed for 85 yards in Alabama's 27-11 win over Penn State. In the following game, Lacy rushed for 161 yards and 2 touchdowns on 9 carries against North Texas. His 67-yard touchdown sprint in the 4th quarter was picked as Alabama's play of the week. Against Arkansas, Lacy rushed for 61 yards and 1 touchdown on 13 carries. He sustained a foot injury against SEC West rival Arkansas and did not play the following week against Vanderbilt. During the 2011 regular season, Lacy had 631 rushing yards and 7 touchdowns. Going into his junior year in 2012, he became the starting running back after Trent Richardson left for the NFL draft. His backup was true freshman TJ Yeldon. Both he and Yeldon finished the year with over 1,000 yards each for the Crimson Tide. In the Arkansas game, he had 55 yards rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns. Against Missouri, he had 177 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns. In the Iron Bowl against Auburn, he had 131 rushing yards and 2 touchdowns in the victory. He finished the 2012 season rushing for 181 yards and 2 touchdowns in the 2012 SEC Championship game, and 140 yards and 1 rushing touchdown, as well as 1 receiving touchdown in the 2013 BCS National Championship game against Notre Dame. He was named the offensive MVP for the BCS Championship game. Lacy finished his final year before he entered the draft, that is, his junior season at Alabama, with 1,322 rushing yards and 17 rushing touchdowns and 2 receiving touchdowns. On January 11, 2013, he decided to forego his final year and declare for the 2013 NFL Draft. So pretty solid career, collegiate career for Eddie Lacy. His rushing yard totals increased every season, and not a bad way to go out, finishing your last season in college with 1,322 yards and 17 touchdowns. That's a lot of touchdowns. And then another 22 receptions for 189 yards receiving and 2 more touchdowns. So needless to say, Eddie Lacy was pretty sought after going into the 2013 NFL Draft, with a reputation for agility, strength, and ability to run through tackles. His pre-draft measurables are as follows: 5 foot 11 inches tall, 231 pounds, with a 4.64 40 and a 33.5 vertical jump. So for 231 pounds, 4.64 is very good in my opinion, especially being more of a power back and running through tackles. Yeah, Mr. Lacy was not an easy guy to bring down. Now, going into his professional career, the 2013 season with the Green Bay Packers. Lacy was selected in the 2nd round, 61st overall by Green Bay. He was the 4th running back to be selected in the 2013 NFL Draft. In addition, he was the 4th of 9 Alabama players to be selected that year. On May 30th, 2013, he signed his contract with the Packers. Lacy finished his rookie season with an impressive 1,178 yards and 11 touchdowns, with 257 receiving yards as well. He set the Packer rookie records for most rushing yards and touchdowns in a season. He was named AP Second Team All-Pro and was named to the NFC Pro Bowl. The Packers made the playoffs with an 8-7-1 record that season. He was named to the PFWA All-Rookie Team. In the wild card round against the San Francisco 49ers, he had 81 rushing yards in the 23-20 loss. Lacy was selected as the 2013 Offensive Rookie of the Year, the first Packer chosen for the award since running back John Brockington in 1971. He was also the Packers' first 1,000-yard rusher since Ryan Grant in 2009. He was ranked 90th by his fellow players on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2014 list. Moving on to the 2014 season for Mr. Eddie Lacy. After a slow start to the season, Lacy finished strong, ending the year with 1,139 yards rushing, with 9 rushing touchdowns, averaging 4.6 yards per carry. Lacy became only the second Packer ever to rush for over 1,000 yards in his first 2 NFL seasons, joining John Brockington. In addition, Lacy caught 42 passes for 427 yards and 4 touchdowns. The Packers earned a first-round bye in the playoffs that season. In the divisional round against the Dallas Cowboys, Lacy had 101 rushing yards in the 26-21 victory. In the NFC Championship game against the Seattle Seahawks, he had 73 rushing yards in the 28-22 overtime loss. He was ranked 60th by his fellow players on the NFL Top 100 Players of 2015 list. In the 2015 season, he finished with 758 rushing yards and 3 rushing touchdowns, 20 receptions, 188 receiving yards, and 2 more receiving touchdowns. The Packers made the playoffs and faced off against the Washington Redskins in the wild card round. In the 35-18 victory, Lacy rushed for 63 yards and a touchdown. In the divisional round against the Arizona Cardinals, Eddie Lacy had 89 rushing yards in the 26-20 overtime loss. Moving on to the 2016 season, Lacy started with 61 rushing yards in a 27-23 victory over the Jacksonville Jaguars. On October 11th, he injured his ankle in a Sunday night football game against the New York Giants. He was placed on injured reserve on October 20th, 2016. He started the first 5 games of that season rushing for 360 yards on 71 attempts with no touchdowns, and averaged a career-high 5.1 yards per carry. In 2017, Lacy signed a 1-year, $5.5 million contract with the Seattle Seahawks with $3 million guaranteed. He was offered similar contracts from the Packers and the Minnesota Vikings before ultimately choosing to sign with Seattle. Lacy struggled in the 2017 season as part of a crowded backfield. On September 10th, in his Seahawks debut, he had 5 rushes for just 3 yards in a 17-9 loss to his former team, the Green Bay Packers. Overall, he finished the 2017 season with 179 rushing yards and 6 receptions for 47 yards. From here, after the 2017 season with the Seahawks, his career just seemed to fizzle out after 5 seasons. And this is where we kind of, lose track of him. He struggled with weight loss and also said that a combination of exhaustion from internet trolls and criticism became too much for him, and he's had to step away from the game to care for his mental health. And I do remember this part of his career. Eddie was struggling with his weight quite a bit. He had weight clauses where he had to come into training camp 250 pounds or less because his weight just kept going up and up and up and up, it seemed, every season. And Going into Alabama his freshman year, he was already a big back at 221 pounds. And then his rookie season with Green Bay, he was 230 pounds. So uh, when you're naturally a thick, big guy like him, yes, I can see where the weight can be an issue. And he was trolled pretty hard from it. I actually felt bad for him because his overall stats and numbers were pretty good. He always had a really good yards per carry average, and he was trucking dudes a lot. According to WHNT, he made an attempt to come back to the NFL in 2019, but the Ravens declined to sign him, and he did not try out again. So that is the unfortunate end of his professional career. And unfortunately, Eddie kind of had a few issues after football. In 2022, Eddie was slapped with several DUI charges, including extreme DUI. After police pulled him over, he was handed 5 charges and 4 of those were dismissed. The outlet reports that Eddie later pleaded guilty to having an extreme DUI with a blood alcohol concentration of at least 0.20 and was fined $3,259.20. The latest run-in that Eddie Lacy had with the law came in 2024, where on September 30th, 2024, he was arrested in Scottsdale, Arizona on 4 charges, including suspicion of extreme DUI and possession of an open container inside a vehicle. He was later accused to have a blood alcohol level of 0.325, 4 times the legal limit in the state of Arizona. Yikes. Although it is clear that he is not always making good decisions post life after football, Eddie seems to be focused on his well-being and the well-being of his family. I do remember hearing that Eddie is a very, very devoted father, and family is a big part of his life, so kudos to him on that. But going back to his career, I'm not sure why. I mean, those are the only opportunities he had, just 5 seasons. He was pretty productive. Going back and looking at his numbers, he was pretty durable for such a big back that absorbed a lot of hits. And I'm not sure if it was more on his end where he like we mentioned earlier, he had to step away due to mental health issues. But it's really sad because I thought Eddie was going to be a very productive power back in the NFL for a long time. He had hands, he could catch the ball. 4'6" at 230 pounds. That's a big boy moving pretty fast. So Eddie Lacy, another guy, which we were here on this channel, we were always wondering what happened to him, and we will get into more players in the future on this channel. If there are any other athletes that you would like us to discuss, as mentioned before, feel free to name them in the comment section. Please like and subscribe, and thank you for listening. Catch you next time.